whatever we're programmed up here. So today, the main goal is to go over how you implement the exercises, because I had a few people already messaged asking about how you put the exercise into place, and then we'll go over how to customize the meal plan for yourself. So when we're talking about this, you saw I put on there beginner, advanced, ninja. Just made up names, guys. 21-day ab assault. It's just a name, guys. We're going to do some exercises. We're going to work on our core. And if we wouldn't have put some fancy name in there, you wouldn't have signed up for something for free. So that's your honest answer right there. So you have to call it a fancy name. As soon as we had it out there for like a day, I'm like, I hate the name assault. This is awful. So I started calling it restore your core, strengthen your core. Started putting it on that because I'm like, just writing the word salt every day was like just kind of a little rough. So don't get overwhelmed by anything. So the whole idea is like everybody's going to have their different ability levels. We're going to talk about how to break it down if like beginner, advanced, or trying to go like a full-on transformation. So when we're looking at this, think of taking things as bite-sized pieces. So like the daily ab program, it's a bite-sized piece. It's one part of the component. The meal plan, it's one part of the component. If you're going to do additional cardio, it's one part of the component. If you mess up on a meal, it doesn't mean you throw these other two things away, or if you do your workout today, it doesn't mean you have to do these other things, but like the more consistent you do kind of the trifecta of it all, the better results you'll get from it. So the hard part is self-motivating. The hard part is staying accountable. The hard part is staying just kind of on track with everything. So a couple different things I'll suggest first. Oh, Michelle, we didn't hand out packets. I guess they don't have. Oops.
So sorry. I failed. I had one job. One job.
My bad.
I was looking through the sheets. I'm like, wait, they don't even have sheets in their hand. I'm like, what happened?
I thought that was the sign up.
No, that's for you.
Oh, okay.
No, it's all good. I'm cool. My jets. Here we go.
We have 7 staff and not one sheet, right? Nobody said anything. It's my fault. If you don't set the example. All right. So when we're going through on some of this, guys, the one thing I really wanted to emphasize with everyone is if you've been doing nothing or very little, then making 1 or 2 changes is going to get you a big result. If you've been working out for a while and kind of consistent or like good for a week, off for a week, you're going to have to do a little bit more to see results. And if you're somebody who's been working out every single day, then obviously you have to do a lot more to see results. So if you're new, you kind of have the best advantage. So when it's new, Elizabeth, you're going to kill me. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so ADD, and you know this already. Like, all I hear is zzz. So when you're starting off, the motivation is the lowest, but the results are the highest. So you have to somehow manage that wave for as long as you can, because once you get going for a little bit, the motivation becomes a whole lot easier because it's a part of your routine, but the results you see are a whole lot more hard work to equal the same type of results. So in the beginning, like, if you can really tighten down a few key components, that's where you really start to see everything happen really fast. The hard part is when we're like, I'll do it today, oh, I'm sore tomorrow, I'll do it again on Wednesday, oh, I'm sore Thursday, Friday, I'll do it Saturday. And when it starts to become something you do 2-3 times a week, it's a hobby. People who crochet do it more than 2-3 times a week. People who play cards play it more than 2-3 times a week. Golfers play more than 2-3 times a week. So when you actually want to see results and see it build up, it's the daily consistency. You know, we eat every day, we live every day, we do all these things that can make us unhealthier, heavier, gain fat. We should also try and have something in our arsenal that we're doing every single day to get healthier, get leaner, and have less fat. So the whole idea is you kind of have 3 different tools here, page 1, page 2, page 3 type of thing. So you have 3 tools that you can really use as far as helping you on a daily basis. So you have ground rules that you can follow, which we'll talk about in a second. You have an example meal plan if you really want to try and like do it big time, and then you have ab exercises. The 3 of those different things working together will do a beautiful thing. But again, you're going to pick and choose in bite-sized portions of what you feel is going to work best for you. So what I want to actually do is we're going to flip all the way to the back page first. Let's go to the abdominal section. So I rewrote this template like 8 different times trying to make some sort of sense of how, God bless you.
Thank you.
For people who had never had a program from us of like, how are they going to be able to read this and understand what I'm trying to say? So I want to decipher everything now just so we can go through it. So like, let's take just day 1 and, or workout 1, sorry. So we're going through workout 1, whatever your start day is. So let's say you're going to start tomorrow. So tomorrow is Wednesday, tomorrow's day 1. You're going to do this workout on day 1. You'll do it on day 6, 11, 16, and 21. Okay? So this same workout, the reason why there's a gap there is you'll just put a check next to it when you accomplish it. Okay? So again, if you start tomorrow, tomorrow's your day 1. If you start on Friday, Friday's your day 1. Okay? Now, what happens if you start on Wednesday, take 3 days off, and start back again on Saturday. When do we do day 2? On Saturday. Yeah. So don't just skip days and be like, oh, I already beat that part. No, you didn't even do it. So you still got to do them, okay? So if your day 2 ends up being 3 days later, still do day 2, put the check next to it.
It's still your day 2.
It's still your day 2. You don't beat the system by not doing it. So it's not like, oh, I skipped past that. I didn't like that workout. So however you have to do it, guys, your 21 days might be 30 days. Your 21 days might be 35. Your goal would be to get it as consolidated into that 21 days as possible, okay? So how we're going to fit it in with doing it every single day if possible is, when you look at the very first, you have 20 and then /50 of straight leg kickbacks. 20 is going to be your beginner level, 50 will be your advanced, okay? So straight leg kickbacks is where she was up against a tree, kicking straight back. 20 would mean 10 per side, 50 would mean 25 per side, okay? So that's total reps. I try to write total in there and underline it, so it's a total rep, so we would know right and left will total is 1, okay? So if you're doing 20 of those, so 10 and 10, and then your very next one is the seated knee-ins where she was bringing her knees in around the dumbbell, doing that stuff, and you do the Spider-Man planks and you do the jumping jacks for 40, like guys, it's 3 minutes of work. Like that's not a lot, okay? So I've had people messaging today that didn't wait for an orientation that already got started and they're wondering why it was so easy. This is just the bare minimum, like when you're doing the left-hand column and only doing 1 set. So when we go into, I want to make sure we get to the bottom where it says beginners per set, or sets per workout. It says week 1. So you're only doing that 1 time. Now when we get into next week and it's the second week, you would do that workout 2 times. And when we get to the 3rd week, you would do that 3 times. So it will get slightly harder, but that's still not going to be hard. That's 6 minutes still at the end of this month. So your ways of making it more difficult is when you look at certain days, like say you do this first day, first workout, and you do it 1 time through, and you can still do more. What should you do?
More.
Do more. What is the hardest part of a workout?
Getting started.
Getting started. So if we look at this as like, oh, I only have to do 20 reps of 4 different exercises, and one of them is jumping jacks, which is easy, like just start with that. Don't get so overwhelmed. If you can get your ass to do this, then you're probably going to do a little bit more. But if you can't get yourself even started because you're like overwhelmed by the other numbers, or you're looking at it, you have to do it 3 times or 5 times, it's a lot. It's a little bit intimidating, okay? So start with the minimum and work your way up and build from there. Mike, did you end up timing yourself or you just went?
I did not.
No, that's awesome though, man. Yeah, you're right at an hour, so you did good. There you go, Mike. See you, man. He showed 6:35, 6:40. I didn't even think we were going to see him today. It was awesome. So when you're looking at that stuff, don't get overwhelmed. It's the easiest way to start. It's the lowest path of entry. All right. So when I wrote here 1, 2, 3, 4, your easiest way. So if you do it as written, this is going to be like for a beginner. This could be like an add-on to your current workout program that you're doing. Or this could be something where it's like we call them at this gym, a finisher. So like when you finish your workout, everything's done for the day, you still got a little bit more heat left in you that you can burn out, that's where you would do your 1 set going through, okay? So that's the way number 1 is kind of laid out there for you, is beginners, just getting your feet wet, trying to do something, or if you're already in some sort of like Planet Fitness workout program, or you had mentioned something, one of you guys said you did spin or whatever, so like say you did a spin workout, that would be something right at the end, you get your 20 kickbacks, get some workout, do something along those lines. So and then as a finisher, if you're a current client here, when you're done, just do 1 set of everything straight on through while we're talking. Yeah, it's easy that way. All right, so that's one way. The next way is say you're on your own. Say you're not working out here today, you don't have a Planet Fitness membership, you don't do anything else. Like this is like it, like this is the only thing that you're following right now. The way to increase this and the way to expand upon this would be to either do cardio at the front or at the end. Now, what do we mean by cardio? Cardiovascular means what? Let's start with that. Heart, okay? Aerobic versus anaerobic, what's the difference? Movement, close. Heart. What does heart pump?
Blood.
Blood, which contains
Oxygen.
oxygen. So aerobic is with oxygen, anaerobic without oxygen, okay? So all we're talking about here is say you walk around your hood 2 blocks or something like that. Or like you guys today, you did the 6 laps. Like even if you walked it or jogged it, 12, sorry, okay, whatever. So you did 12 laps, my bad. I'm not taking your credit away. So no matter what you did, like even if you walked it, jogged it, crawled it, like you felt it. It wasn't a lot, but it was still something, like you definitely felt that. So if you did that and then did 1 set of everything, or you did 2 sets of everything, like that's a pretty good workout, like you're going to feel that. The very last way of advancing it is just bookending it. So basically, like you would start with 6 laps, just like we did today, 12 laps. Do your 1 or 2 sets here, and then do the same thing, 6 or 12 laps, or 1 mile, or 2 blocks, or wherever your distance is. So for people always starting out, so everybody today that did this workout, this was new. We don't run a lot, okay? So if you're new to doing this same thing, come on, when do we, like, she just gave me the furl eye. When do we run more than a lap or 2 laps? Never. Yeah, we practiced in the last week, that's about it. But, so if you're new to this, the whole idea is like you want to take like little benchmarks in your neighborhood. So you look at a certain neighbor's mailbox, like you're going to run to that today. Next time you go out, the goal doesn't have to be to go like another whole block. The goal is the next neighbor's mailbox, and then the next one, the next one, the next one. And when you start looking at it, same thing with this, like the 21 day is going to take you maybe 30 days, 35 days. Same thing, you might end up getting to your mile in 21 days or 35 days or 4 years from now, all right? But you're gonna set up your benchmark and you're just gonna try and get a little bit better each time you go. So like the people who go walk the mall, like, I don't know, you pick your path. You walk 1 time around, that's good for a week or 2, then you start picking 2 times around. Whatever your strategy is with that, that's how you would go. When you guys go to vets, how far do you guys go? So when they go to like, do you guys ever go to Veterans Park or anything like, no? So Veterans Park.
Yeah,
and
Veterans
that's-
Park's very good.
Yeah, so that's what they were saying,
And
3
one
laps
loop
is
is a
like what she
mile.
does.
Huh?
It's a little over a mile.
Yeah, one loop
No.
is,
It's a
one
mile.
loop is a mile.
Yep, it's a little over a mile.
Where is that?
Did you clock it?
Absolutely.
I want somebody to clock here because,
It's
Yeah,
marked.
We did that last night, my daughter and I. We
Okay.
did it. It was like 1.14 or something like that.
oh, because it might be a 5K for 3 laps, then that might be why, yeah. So anyway, the whole idea is like with vets, you look at this sheet right here and you take the beginner day and day 1 workout or workout 1, you could do 1 lap around the vets, you do your 20 kickbacks per side, you do your hip bridges, you do your exercise, you do your jumping jacks, and then you finish with 1 more lap. That's a beautiful workout, and that's probably going to take you like 20, 25 minutes without anybody yelling at you, without any extra pressure, but it's that extra little icing on top for the people that work here, and it's a great like canvas to start with on a
That's
new
normally
client.
like when you guys send out those little things, if you're not here, you can do that.
Yeah.
That's what we've done, but also we started doing where we'll walk the first 1 lap, do our things, and then the second lap, like, okay, we go, okay, from the benches where it's supposed to be the sit-ups to there, we're gonna run. So we run, and then we run up the hill, and then.
So you
go
start
to these-
breaking it up more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's, if you left the house, or before you even left the house, you came up with that plan, like somebody's gonna back out. But when you do it and you already start walking and you're like, all right, we can run to that, then you're going already. So it's the whole momentum thing. So that's really what I wanted to emphasize with the workouts. If anybody wants to go over like the breakdown of any of this stuff, we can. But just remember, the reps that are listed is total. So if it's 2-sided, it's gonna be half and half. If you're easy doing 1 set or 1 round of everything, do a second round. If after the whole first week you're like every single thing was easy for 1 or 2 rounds, then up it to the advanced of 3 or 4 rounds. So it's customizable as long as you're doing something. If you do nothing and never use anything, it's not customizable, it's just a sheet of paper with some writing on it, okay? So that's really the main thing of the first part is take it as it is if you're already doing something or if you're a beginner. If you want to increase it, make it a little bit harder to start forming a workout canvas or pillar, then you'd start from here with doing either front end or back end cardio, and then really to get the best results with it, little cardio before, do your exercises, little cardio after, okay? And this can be customized for advanced, for ninja. I mean, it's really same 3 ways work no matter your ability level. It just depends on how much you're doing and how much volume you're doing. Cool on this? It should be easy, guys. If you have more questions than that, you're trying to overcomplicate it. I think we've done a pretty good job of laying some of this out. The next part is on the meals. So for everybody who came off just doing the transformation challenge with us, you were probably on a great run, and then you let like 1 or 2, oh, I see the smirks already. You do like 1 or 2 things bad after the first day because you're like, I just had my weigh in, let's go eat. And then like a couple more things bad happen, and you might be a week and a half later now, and some of you might be really off track. I read your email today, and actually I didn't reply back, but yours is a perfect example. So when I write my emails in the morning, so many times people are like, you wrote this to me. And it's like, no, I didn't, but you guys all go through the same thing at the same time since there's so many of you. And so the feedback and the questions, when I respond to one, most of the time I'm like, oh, this is good, and I copy and paste that. So like my reply to Shirley and an email personally last night might end up being the email that goes to everybody the next morning, because then I got 10 more people with the same question. So the big thing everybody said is Memorial Day weekend, they blew it. They kind of came unhinged. So if you think you're the only one, you're not. Yeah. So if you think you're the only one, you're not. And it's really like last Monday on our support page, I thought that was one of the coolest posts that we'd ever made. We put who cheated this weekend and what did you have? Because everybody thinks they're alone.
And
There
for
was-
the people who don't, we just finished a 4-week challenge.
Yeah, we call it Game of Shreds instead of Game of Thrones. It was, we had all sorts of fun stuff in here. Yeah, and Larissa, actually, you're just back, but yeah, so you missed the challenge with that too. It was fun. It was just, we used almost the same exact meal plan,
Okay.
but it was just the engagement again of having a catchy name to start with, and then also having kind of everything else around it really helped with that stuff. So if you've fallen off on the meal plan, or if you're brand new to the meal plan, what we want to do is go to the first page of that sheet right here, and it's going to have those 8 ground rules. So go to the very first page, wherever you guys are on that. So it should be the very top one. Cool. So these are the 8 ground rules we follow for the challenge. Now with these, they should seem like common sense, but it doesn't mean they're easy. None of these are easy to do. That's why like America is 68% overweight. We struggle with them. We like sugar, we like pizza, we like fried food. So when you look at this and you're like, oh, I can't do this, like, yeah, it's a struggle. So it's almost, I don't know the word, but it's almost crazy to think that we're going to get a certain type of result without a certain type of sacrifice. You know, same thing, we just have Memorial Day, so it's a great like play off of it. But like we can't have the country we have without the sacrifice. You can't have the job you have without having to sacrifice and learn and education and whatever you had to do to get to that point. So it's the same thing with fitness. So when you look at these different things, some are going to have bigger levers than others. So some, like cutting out sugar, is going to move the pendulum a whole lot bigger than, you know, eating vegetables or something like that. But one is going to help more with health, one is going to help more with weight loss. Together, when they work together, that's when everything starts happening a whole lot easier. So when you start looking at these, 1 plus 1, I guess where I want to get to is 1 plus 1 doesn't equal 2 in this situation. 1 plus 1 equals like 3, and 2 plus 2 equals like 7, and 3 plus 3 equals 8. Like when you really start doing this, it's exponentially of how you're going to see your results. Don't look at it and just say, well, I cut out fried food and I didn't lose 5 pounds this week. Like, it's just not going to happen. So when we look at the ground rules is a great place to start. There's nothing listed about what you should eat. It's basically what you shouldn't eat. And if you already have your certain way of living, like the way you eat and your family eats is probably way different than mine or way different than Shirley's or however, like everybody's family is going to eat a little bit different. So if I give you a sheet of paper with a complete diet written out like on page 2 and it's nothing that you like, you're not going to follow it. And you might because you want to be gung-ho for a week or two, but as soon as you either don't have the food prepped at home or you didn't go grocery shopping for all the things, you're going to go back to comforts. So the best way to always start is on that page 1, and how do you take the foods that you like, the foods that you eat, everything that's on your normal family menu, but somehow modify it to fit those rules. Maybe we cut out the pastas and potatoes for 2 weeks. Maybe we cut out the fried foods and we bake it or grill it instead. Maybe instead of sugar we cut it in half, or we try and use maybe something with an artificial sweetener if we have to still have some sort of sweeteners. But you starting making your concessions with different things, and what can I trade out, what can I modify, so that now my customized meal plan is really a customized meal plan, not page 2 where it's spoon-fed to you. Because page 2 is a good way to start if you need help, but page 2 is not a perfect diet. It's a perfect diet for like us, it's pretty close to like what we do, but it's not going to be a perfect diet for everybody else.
Yeah, because
right?
I wouldn't be able to do that.
Do you hate me already when you look at this?
No, it's not that. It's I'm diabetic.
Yeah, so, but
So
that's
I
actually...
can't have the fruits.
Yeah, so that's actually a perfect meal plan for you, minus the fruits. And that's, so how we've always taught from the very beginning, like our program started with diabetics. And so how I've always said is the best way to avoid diabetes in your future is to eat like one now. And the easiest way to be lean and the easiest way to lose weight is to eat like a diabetic now. And a lot of times people get on about like, oh, but sucralose, isn't that bad? Well, diabetes kills you. Sugar kills you. So, you know, it's the other thing is like, oh, artificial sweeteners are addicting. No, sugar's addicting. Like, I can have anything sugar-free. Like, she'll put Splenda in her coffee and like, she's not like, I need the chocolate, you know? But like, if we eat chocolate like the next day.
I want cake the next day.
Yeah, like when Shirley makes a cupcake, guess what I want the next day? I want 4 cupcakes, you know? So, you know, there's going to be some concessions with stuff, but yeah, I mean, avoiding sugar is huge. And the other thing too of balancing blood sugar is the implementations of fats.
Yes.
I mean, all your nuts and your avocados and all those things are really going to help. Even cheese, where it might be off limits to one person, is going to be huge
Great
for you.
another.
Yeah, grapefruit. Actually, yeah, go figure is a fruit that you can eat.
I know.
Yeah, it's...
Because I thought I was doing good. I was making protein shakes
Mhm.
using fresh fruits and protein powder and whatever. My doctor liked to flipped out when she heard I was drinking one every day.
So you got a couple things you can do that'll really help with that. One is if you're going to do fruit, you're going to use a whole lot less. But say for instance like frozen strawberries, frozen blueberries, or wait till bananas go bad and just cut them into little portions.
I did. That's what I did.
Yeah, but it's going to be doing very, very little. The key thing that you want to do too, and some of you guys heard me say this, get the old school ice cube trays, fill it with Greek yogurt, and that way that becomes your ice when you actually make your smoothie.
Right.
So now not only you're having protein, a little bit less fruit, you're going to throw more protein in there and then finish it with some sort of fat.
Yeah.
So whether you're adding coconut oil or you're actually adding peanut butter, or you're adding, but that'll help offset just a little bit of fruit so you have some
It
flavor.
sound a little crazy,
Yeah.
but avocado does taste good in the smoothie.
Probably
I
sweet.
believe it, yeah.
Yeah.
It does taste good.
Spinach somehow
And it
like
probably
makes
adds a
things
nice
taste.
creaminess
It does.
to it.
Yep.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. Like
That's a
I
great
like
idea to
coconut
get.
oil. Like it's to me, it's as the same thing. It's a little oily. It tastes like I'm
Yeah.
eating something bad. So I don't know.
I love avocados.
Yeah. So when you're looking at the meal plan, guys, like this is where I look at it. A beginner, choose 2 things, and like circle them before you leave. Because like if you get home and you have to pick one, you're gonna pick the easiest one. You should probably pick the one that when you looked at it gave you the most like discomfort. All right. Because if you start with the 2 hardest, then those easier ones, those are gonna fall into place. So it's almost a situation where I always like to take the lowest hanging fruit. So when I say that, what I mean is this. Find the thing that you do consistently every single day and pull that thing out first. So if like you eat pizza once every 3 weeks, don't be like, oh, I'm not gonna eat pizza for this whole 3 weeks. Like that's stupid. Like just have it at the end and you'll be okay. But if you do something every single day, like you pound sugar into your coffee or you do too much fruit, which that's only on the diabetic side, but you do whatever it is, find the thing that you do consistently and repetitively that you're messing up on and just pull that out. Make that the very first thing you pull out because then in like 3-4 days you're actually gonna see a difference and you're gonna keep going. But if you're still doing your bad thing, but you've cut out all the easy things that you don't do anyway, and you don't see the results in a couple days, then you're already gonna give up because you guys are so impatient. Like, and I joke about this, but people will sacrifice and like kill themselves for a month on a diet or a medical weight loss or multi-level marketing, but they just won't like take 1 or 2 healthy things and implement it for the rest of their life. It's amazing how much people will punish themselves short term and like don't reward themselves long term. So find that one that is like the hardest, that makes you gulp, pull that one out, and then maybe even put like a 2 next to the other ones that you're gonna pull out on week 2. And then maybe write 3 on some of the other ones and you're gonna pull those things out on week 3. And then hopefully at the end of 21 days, you don't just stop everything you learned and you still keep doing this, okay? So for the new people, I wanna make sure you guys know about this. So every Thursday we do our workshops here. So like next Thursday is nutrition basics. So like we start 7:05, we start a little earlier. But every single week, 7 o'clock, we do a workshop here. It's for our clients, it's for the community, people invite friends, family, whatever. But that every single week, I want to spend more time talking about this. If people come in asking questions, it's not necessarily about the program. Of course, we're still going to answer all those. But this is where we're going to come back to these 8 steps next week. And what are we going to implement for next week? And what are we going to implement for next week? And that way there's actually a long-term plan going and not just 21 days with a fancy name of Abasalt and whatever else we just came up with. All right? Cool? All right. Shall I do want to go over water, protein? I know there's always the things you like covering. Is April here to talk about?
I know, she's
No.
gonna. No, I mean,
She gives the most practical advice because she lives this, where for me, like I teach this. It's 2 different things. So
But I'm not going to get into protein or the major things, especially for smoothies. I think the biggest thing is to not be overwhelmed like by this. And like Derek said, pick 1 thing, 2 things that
So
you
cute.
think that you can. God bless you. That was like a mouse. But pick 1 or 2 things, like he said, that are out of your comfort zone, that are not the easy button ways to do it, and really commit. But also, do not commit to X, Y, Z. I'm going to run a mile. I'm going to do 19 of these workouts, and I'm going to drink a gallon of water, and I'm going to do this. It's not going to happen, you know? So just the biggest advice that I can give you is don't be overwhelmed. Pick 2 things that are out of your comfort zone, own it, run with it, and the rest truly will fall in place. Normally, I do like to preach about water and protein. Those are my 2 favorite things. You know, they are kind of an easy adjustment to make a big change. So if you do want to throw in a 3rd thing or a 4th thing, really if you can increase as much water as possible throughout the day. Yes, you may pee a little bit more, but just think that you are flushing out whatever you took in, all the toxins in your body.
it's amazing people will take all these pills into their body, but yet they don't want to excrete and pee like something healthy. but like
Yeah.
we'll put poison into our body. It makes no sense, right? Like, but I'll pee more. It's a break from work.
And I was
Like,
just gonna say, especially if you're at work, I mean, and you're counting the minutes down, so what, you gotta get up and go pee. It gets the blood flowing, your arm, you know, you're moving around, it's not a bad thing. So I would say that water is always, and because again, our bodies helps our skin, our, just everything.
Yeah.
And protein too, if you can increase your protein levels, you know, can really help with muscle building, fat burning, those are, you know, so those are
They
kind
don't
of
turn
my
to fat.
two, even though we have fluffed out and we've gone through the ebbs and flows of fitness, two things that have kind of stood strong is always staying hydrated and protein intake, so.
yeah, 100%.
And not being overwhelmed, again, sorry, that's my
Yeah.
thing. Don't, you know, pick two things, because like he said, I think so many people want to take so much on, then you get burned out, you get upset, you go emotionally eat, you hate yourself for it, and then you start that cycle over again. So like he said, if you pick two things that you could master over the next 3 weeks and really make changes.
And when you say water, you're talking plain water, not flavored waters, right?
Well,
The reason why I say
No,
that
I
is
love
because I don't like flavored waters. If I drink, I have a glass of water with me all day long.
That's awesome.
I drink water
so you're like her then.
constantly.
I don't like
But
that.
I take
Oh, I like it.
limes and I'll
Oh,
put
that's
lime in
awesome.
it, or I'll put lemon in it,
Mhm.
or I'll take, sometimes I treat myself to raspberries or,
Well, you're a doctor.
that's not too often.
Cucumber's really good.
Yeah.
Cucumbers,
Basil.
Cucumber's
yes.
amazing, yeah.
And that's
But the bottled waters that you buy in the store that are flavored, they say they're 0 calories, but
Yeah, I
that,
got stuff in it.
Does it spike your blood
have-
sugar?
Yes.
Yeah.
really.
It
So-
does have something in there. I
Yeah.
don't know what, but it's
Well-
got something in it.
Artificial sweetener will actually sometimes be seen in your body as sugar. So what happens is like your body still has the same salivary response, and your brain, I mean, as long as the
Right.
pituitary, or the, yeah, I guess pituitary gland gets cooled, it happens. So yeah, it's possible.
I like plain water. He's not
It's
a
not your
fan of
pituitary,
it.
what is it?
He
Your-
drinks.
My husband either. My husband likes seltzer. I just want plain
I
water.
drink Crystal
Same.
Light.
I
It's,
yeah, just give me just some water and I'm good. But
I
I
like
mean,
the carbonation.
yeah.
if you do
I
need
feel like
to, I mean, that's a great idea that you
We're
brought
opposites.
up. We have like this, we call it spa water, or I think we have like a detox. I mean, you can add any sort of fruit to your water and it's like nice, refreshing, especially.
Yeah,
as
who's never done the spa
tired.
water? I'll send that out as an email tomorrow. It's like with the lemons, with cucumber.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would add whatever.
Yeah, I'll
random
send that out
fruit
tomorrow.
I
I mean,
have.
vegetables in your orange.
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
Remember the gallon jug? Remember I sent you a picture? You said it was like a-
Inside of your water, I believe. Yeah, that's really, and that's almost how it goes. And you can add water to the older fruit, and it'll still keep pulling out flavor and stuff. So, where I want to go real quick is if we can identify. I love putting people on the spot. Number one fear of most people is public speaking. Number two is being called on by the public speaker. So we'll go through, but like, what's one thing that, as far as nutritionally, you think you're going to implement, Miss Peggy?
I have the hardest time of putting in protein in my diet.
Okay.
Protein shakes to me, I can't.
Don't like 'em?
I've been able to do. I've tried and I've tried. I tried my frother with putting protein in the frother.
Really?
Coffee, I've tried it. It still clumps. I've tried it, and that's my hardest part is getting more protein in my body.
So you're gonna try it through food or for?
Well, I'll be able to, not this week, but next week, starting with,
Mhm.
off for the summer.
Yep.
I'll be able to try to put more protein in my meals, because being a teacher, I can't eat specific times of it.
Understood.
Do I have to do it at
That's a
specific
hard
times?
problem for you guys,
So
yep.
that's the hardest problem too.
One of the things that might be a good idea is putting onto the support page is just the fact of like, hey, who has protein that they like, and just have people bring bags with it listed, like Rule 1 strawberry, whatever,
Like a
Diametize this.
sample swap?
I have no problem bringing a scoop. I don't think anybody else would. But
Okay.
with us not being people that push a multi-level or something else, like everybody's free to choose their own protein. Like it's
We have it at home.
yeah.
It's
But
just hard for
but-
me to
Yeah,
drink
but you have to
it.
drink it,
I've
yeah.
never been able to like.
it's the weirdest thing. It never works on your counter.
It reminds me of just like drinking milk. I hate drinking milk. It's like kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What brand is it? Do you know?
I have no clue. We got it for my kids when Rollo said to when
Okay.
I started working out.
Yeah.
Have you tried using almond milk with it?
Yeah. I
Even
just-
like vanilla. Yeah.
Milk just makes you like want to go to.
Have you just tried water though? Straight up
Yeah, I
water,
know.
4
I probably
ounces
should.
of
I
scoop
should
and you
water-
slam.
I'm gonna make you like 5 different shakes and bring them here, and I'm just gonna put like numbers so I know what they
Oh
are.
really?
No, I don't know. But we should,
That would be good. That would be a good idea.
right? Oh, it's like the PepsiCo challenge. Like, can you tell like what's what?
I don't mess around.
Elizabeth, what are you going to implement since you stuck around for us? I love this.
What am I going to implement?
Yeah.
Well, I do well during the week. The problem is on the weekends.
Okay.
When I'm home, because during the week I plan my meals. So I take it home, I go to the job, I have my time to eat. So that's perfect.
So what happens on the weekends?
Weekend, I have no structure. I get up at different hours,
Okay.
and then alcohol, of course.
That's why that
Beer.
vodka works very well.
Yeah, beer also, or can we eliminate beer? Is that like one
There's no
change?
beer. There's just-
That's what I was asking. Okay, yeah.
I do with your vodka white thing.
Okay.
I'm on that. But it's still, it's
We're like the
the
drinkers,
calories,
too.
right, that you don't think about. And what happens when you drink, you're hungry. So then you start munching on things because I don't want to get drunk either. So I just want, so that's what, that's.
And it's the balance.
So I'm doing it for 2 weeks,
Yeah,
and
the-
I haven't drank for 2 weeks because I got sick.
At all,
Not
huh?
because I was
Wow.
pregnant.
The French have it right though. Cheese really
But the
helps.
difference is enormous.
Yeah.
Enormous. So I'm cutting a lot down because even coming here, I mean, still sucks, but.
But you love it.
But it's
Love
not-
it.
it's better. The sucks is better. So-
Your sweat doesn't make people drunk anymore.
So I need to do the same thing I do during the week. I need to prep food for the weekend.
So have you ever thought about this? Is gonna. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, usually what we do structure-wise, because the same thing, like it's the weekend, but I will say, I at least try to stick to two principles, that my first meal or whatever, when I eat, I have a protein shake, like one scoop, just something, so even if it goes to shit, I've started my day off okay.
Right.
And we generally try to keep prepped food or from Rebuilt for our lunches, like a Saturday lunch, Sunday lunch. The rest
Right.
is a free-for-all, but at least I've set up, I at least have a good foundation, and like the rest.
And that's what I had to do.
It's so
Yeah.
funny. There's so many people ordering 4 meals now from Rebuild. I'm like, why are people ordering 4 meals? I mean, it doesn't make sense. They're getting the Thursday delivery for Thursday lunch, Friday lunch, Saturday, Sunday.
The weekend.
Or their husband and spouse, Saturday, Sunday,
Right.
lunch,
Yeah,
lunch. I was like, oh, it's the
because
weirdest
that's when
thing.
it's due on.
The fridge that's over there, like there's a company that delivers food. It has nothing to do with us or anything. But I keep seeing these bags and they're so light. I'm like, what's in there? And I open it, peek in. I'm like, why is there 4 meals? But that's what people are doing. They're using it for weekends now. And I'm finding more and more, like I've always been the one to advocate with cheat meals. I think that's like, it's important to have some balance and whatever. But there's some people that they turn the cheat meal to a cheat day, cheat weekend, cheat week, cheat month, and like they can never reel it in. The one thing she was about to say, and I thought she was going to say the same thing, I agree with the protein shake, I agree with like the structure with it. The other part too is if on weekends, try intermittent fasting. Maybe you don't have your first meal until noon or 1, break it with the shake, and then the rest of the day, even if you eat, you've already eliminated 500-600 calories from your morning. It's not the ideal way always, but like at the end of the day, it'll still balance out to can be a whole, I guess, a lot more caloric friendly. So, and maybe just push drinking back till 2 p.m. or 1 p.m.
Yes, yes.
So the
yes.
snacks start later?
Yes, that will happen.
All right, Larissa, what are we going to implement?
Um,
I'll move quicker, I promise, guys.
all right, well, you know my story, I hurt my back, I didn't work out for 5 months, I just fell off the wagon completely. And if I don't, when I work out, I eat better. So I'm definitely,
When you die in here, you eat better, yeah?
yeah. So I'm on a plan, I'm a very structured person, so.
Cool.
All I need to do is get back on it.
I was going to say, are you a person that like, you want it all written out? Because I actually have meal plans that are like laid out week by week, if that would help.
Yeah,
Yeah?
would help.
Instead of just loose structure?
Yeah, it would
Cool.
help.
If you have your
More
phone, just
ideas.
text me meal plan and I'll
Okay.
send something over to you.
That'll
Margaret,
help
what are
me
we
a
going to put
lot.
in?
Oh, and I agree. The protein, getting the protein shakes